All right, folks, Dan Bidondi, TruthRadioShow.com, and we're on Christmas Eve now of 2018, and I want to bring something very important up to people's attention. This is very critical, especially for people who teach children about Santa Claus and Santa Claus's counterpart. Now, granted, this is a tradition that takes place all over the world, and the evil part of it, they have traditions of it in most countries, and it's kind of lightened up here in the United States. But people should be teaching their children about Jesus Christ, but instead they teach them about a fictional character named Santa Claus that watches you, knows if you're sleeping or not, and you know how the stories go. So anyway, here in America, we say, oh, if you be a bad boy, what do you get? You get a lump of coal in your stocking, okay? But some traditions all over the world, which are rapidly coming here to the United States, and they're starting to teach their kids this stuff, but this is all over the world they're teaching this stuff. One of them is called Krampus, okay? Yes, these are fictional characters, but based off of real demonic sources. So anyway, these old folklores, one of them is called Krampus, and I'm sure a lot of people have heard it already. It's gaining massive widespread here in the United States and all over the world. That basically, if you're bad, Krampus, he accompanies Santa Claus, okay? And if you're a bad kid, he'll put you in a sack and come torture you. He'll come torture you if you're bad. And there's the other ones too, and I'm going to show you what Krampus means. Krampus is Central European folklore. Krampus is a horned demonic goat god. Half goat, half human, half demon, I'm sorry. And I'm going to show you the significance of this after I'm showing you these things here. Another one that just rose up in knowledge of here in the United States, but this is called Black Pete or Black Pete, whatever you call it. Now again, before the liberals go crazy with the racist stuff, it's actually a guy who's covered in black coal. So he's not black, okay? They call him Black Peter because he's covered in black coal. Coincidence, what you getting a lump of coal in your stocking? I don't think so. And these countries here, I mean, there's a lot of these countries, this is Krampus, and all these countries that teach about Krampus. Australia, Bavaria, Croatia, Czech Republic, and so on. And Black Peter is gaining a lot of attention. And Black Peter, and I'm not going to pronounce these words because I don't want to butcher them, but you can see them on screen. And these are the countries here that tradition. So this is what Black Peter is. He's just another version of Krampus. That's all he is. And right on the Facebook page, there's real stories going on about a Black Peter. And I don't want, keep playing all this video because I'm going to hit with copyright, whatever. They always do that to me. And basically scare the daylights out of the kids. Hey, kids, if you don't be good, this guy is going to come get you. Okay, this guy's going to come torture you. He's going to put you in his sack and come torture you. Sick stuff. And I want to say to any parent out there, listen, if you teach your kids any of this stuff, okay, you should be a damn shame of yourself as a parent. Because what you're doing is very spiritual harm to your children. And I'm going to get into that in a minute. And this is just a couple of the things, okay? Ranker online here did a thing for the top 10 terrifying traditional Christmas legends, okay? And just for the sake of not butchering these names, I'm just going to show you. Number one, okay, this guy who, he's covered in patchwork, and what he does, and it's the same thing for all these things, he carries a switch to threaten children. In other words, if you don't be good, and he beats the ones who are poorly behaved, okay? And the Elf on the Shelf, everybody's heard that. It's a book and everything else, but again, it goes after the bad boys. And Krampus, we just talked about number 3. Number 4, we just talked about Black Pete. Number 5, You Lads. Okay, again, the same story. And 13 days before building up to Christmas. It's an unlucky number in the occult. It's a magic number in the occult, actually, but supposedly an unlucky number. But anyway, it goes after the bad boys. Okay, keeps children in line, kidnaps them. For those who did not be good. And same thing, number 6, I can't pronounce that right, so that's what that name is. And if you want Ranker here, you can read it all for yourself. For the sake of time, I'm just going to skim through these things and the countries that they represent. And Brighteon, I don't know what that is, but again, another horn ding, a horn, half demon. This one's a werewolf. That's kind of odd, but anyway. Werewolves are also honored at Yuletide horror festivals in the Middle Ages. So that's another tradition. Gryla, this wicked old lady who eats, right there, eats naughty children. Imagine telling your kid that, showing that image, oh, this lady's going to come after you. You're a 4, 5, 6, 7-year-old seeing that. This lady's going to come after you. Imagine the horror that you, I mean, it looks like a joke to us, but imagine the horror. It actually doesn't even look like a joke to me because there are horrific demons like this, real world demons like this. But they turn them into fictional characters so nobody takes them serious. And number 10, La Pierre Fritard, looks like a retard, excuse my language, and seen during the day in Christmas in Belgium and France. His name means the whipping father. He whips the bad boys and brings them to a religious boarding school, whatever what it is. But anyway, this is Ranker that talks about this. Now I want to state and show you why all these so-called deities here, these not deities, but these terrifying creatures that scare kids, why all of them except for the werewolf, why all of them have horns on their heads. Because it all comes from the same thing, folks. And again, I want to state these are fictional characters, but they're based off of real, actual demons. Okay, and if this looks familiar, anybody using the paganism or Satanism, whatever, or New Age and all that, this is Pan, the horned god, okay, the goat god. Okay, he's not a good guy, okay, even though Wicca and low-level witchcraft, like Wicca and, which is low-level witchcraft, and paganism teach you that this is a horned god of nature. He's all innocent and everything. No, he's not, okay? They have no idea what they're talking about. And I don't care how long you've been in Wicca, how long you've been in your cult, you have no idea what you're talking about, okay? And this is the whole thing, too, is scaring kids to say, oh, there's a boogeyman, there's a Krampus, there's a Black Pete, and a boogeyman on your bed, in your closet. Anybody who does these things to the children, you should be a damn shame of yourself, plain and simple, and all that. But I want to show you the significance, why I'm mentioning Pan, the horn god, the goat god there. And there was another book came out too, is a true story on Mr. Splitfoot. Okay, it was basically a true story on 2 girls who lived in the 19th century, and I highlighted it here. The Fox sisters, they were so-called proclaimed mediums. Come to find out, they were just frauds. But they ended up contacting the Mr. Splitfoot, a devil spirit. Okay, and this is was an ongoing trend in the 19th century, how these New Agers and psychics actually contacted a spirit that had split feet, and it was a horned devil type thing. Okay, this is not a coincidence, folks. Okay, this is what it actually is. Now there's Baphomet here. Baphomet, which a lot of people call it. Now, Baphomet usually gets credited to the creation by Eliphas Levi, okay? But the thing is, people need to understand, Eliphas Levi didn't get this all out of his imagination. This is an actual deity dating way back to the ancient days of Egypt and Babylon. A horned god. That's Satan, folks. And of course, Eliphas Levi called it Baphomet, which is the black side of witchcraft, the heavy side of witchcraft, and Satanism. Now, I want to show you the difference, too. Now, the reason why I'm jumping all over the place is because there's a reason for this, okay? And let me show you here. This guy here, Pan, is actually him. So what you perceive to be this good guy of nature and all that, no. There's a dark side to him. It's all the same thing, all of it. Mr. Splitfoot, the boogeyman, it's all Satan. All these Krampus and Black Pete and all that, it's all the same thing. It's Baphomet, it's Satan. Okay, you can go back into biblical texts, religious texts of all sorts, and you'll find out demonic spirits always associate themselves with a goat. And they're half man, half woman, and as above, so below, equality and duality, and it's half male and half female, and there's some really grotesque pictures of these things that Satanists use, and people in the black magic that use this. Very gross and disgusting. They even have one with a upside down cross going up the you know what. But very disgusting that this the statue is. In modern day Satanism, they say, oh no, we don't believe in the devil, we just believe in ourselves as God. No, that's not what they believe, okay? The people who teach you stuff like this, they don't believe in that. They know there's Satan, they know there's Lucifer, Beelzebub, whatever you want to call him, but they tell the people like in the Church of Satan, no, we're just worshiping our own selves as God, you know, which is not true, you know, at all. But anyway, the whole point of this video here is I want to show where all this originated from, all of it, all this Krampus and Black Pete, okay, all this originated from this horned god, which is Satan. No matter what you want to call him, you want to call him Pan, you want to call him Baphomet, you want to call him Krampus, you want to call him Black Pete, whatever you want to call him, it's all Satan, all of it. And yes, these demons are real, and because of fear, and when you store fear upon kids, you're giving fear upon people, you're actually giving these demonic creatures seething powers and dominion to be in this realm here of the real world. So believe it or not, whatever you take it as a grain of salt, but I want to let people know real quick here, this is how severe, okay, you need to understand this, okay? For people who mislead children, I want to let you know, people say, oh, Jesus is just a loving God, he's a man of peace and all that. Yes, he is. But he's also a man of wrath that you do not want to mess with. And God makes it abundantly clear, that what he's going to do to people that mislead children. Very, very serious. Now, you need to understand this verse. Just this one verse tells it all. There's many others. But Matthew 18:6, it says, but whoever shall offend one of these little children that's misleading them, abusing them, or whatever, which believe in me, it would be better for them to tie a millstone hanged around in his neck and that he drowned in the depths of the ocean. In other words, what he's saying is it would be better, okay, for you to suffer your most horrific death, like imagine the death right now, the most feared death you would don't want to go through. Your worst fears that you would be dying, okay? Imagine that, okay? That's what he's saying, okay? It would be rather for you to die from your worst fear and your worst death ever than having to face the face of God for misleading his children. And he's real serious because you will pay a heavy, heavy price before the Lord for misleading children. And I want to state that to parents who think it's all innocent, to say, oh, yeah, it's okay to teach our kids this stuff. You know, they'll grow out of it. They don't understand. They'll grow out of it. But you're scaring these kids to death, and you should be a damn shame of yourself. Every one of you who do this. Do not teach about Krampus or Crumpus, whatever you want to call him, or the boogeyman, or Black Peter, or whatever. You should be a damn shame of yourself, plain and simple. Because you're giving these children open doorways to these demonic spirits. And I want to put another thing out there, too, before I go. People, you need to take this stuff serious, okay? And you really do, because a lot of parents take it as a joke. First of all, they scare the hell out of the children, okay? Then when something real happens, they think it's a joke and they don't pay attention to the children, okay? If your child is sitting there talking to an imaginary figure, and yes, most children have imaginary friends, absolutely. But if they're talking there for hours on end, playing with this thing, and describing this imaginary friend, folks, that's always associated, usually a girl or a boy that died in the house, or some sort of thing, or a man or woman, you need to take this serious, because this is not imagination. There's been countless numbers of stories where children have actually talked to demonic spirits, that the Bible calls them unclean spirits. I'm sorry, familiar spirits. In other words, they'll look like a boy or a girl or somebody you know or whatever. But they're not. They're actually demons. They're actually unclean spirits. The Bible, when you get to spiritual warfare, describes this stuff. But who's to blame for this? It's the parents, because they don't pay attention to their children. They scare the living daylights out of them with all these fairy folklores and all that stuff. And of course, it's got to give these demonic spirits seething powers and dominion to be in their home. And the other reason why, too, is all the stuff that they put up in, let me get to it in a second here. I want to show you this real quick. I just posted it too on my page. Antichrist, false prophets exposed. This is my page. I ask people to please join us, but I want to show people this stuff. When you buy your kids stuff like this, okay, this is Krampus and Black Pete, but when you buy your kids stuff like this, okay, thinking it's a toy from Parker Brothers or something your grandmother gave you or whatever, when you give your kids stuff like this, okay, and hang things like this over your child's doorways or their beds, you're asking for trouble, plain and simple. And these dream catchers are magnets, okay? They're spiritual magnets. That's why a lot of people have nightmares, bad nightmares when they have these things over their beds and everything. And they're supposed to do the reverse action. No, they don't. Okay, there's very spiritual significance with these things. There's many more too. But I just wanted to show people you're doing more harm than you know with your children if you do not help these children. And stop doing stuff like this, like dream catchers, Ouija boards, and all these Harry Potter toys and all that. You think it's just a toy with the Harry Potter. No, they put real incantations on these toys. They put real inscriptions on the wands at the Harry Potter stuff, and you need to understand what's going on. It's not a joke, okay? It's not just, it's just a movie or a folklore or nothing. No, you're giving your kids spiritual dangers. You're putting your kids into a spiritual danger, plain and simple. And I'm going to end this video here, and I just want people to understand, and this is children's Bible verses. There's so many Bible verses that warn parents to grow them up in the Lord, plain and simple, because instead of scaring the daylights out of your kids, folks, you should be teaching them about God. And now, granted, when they get the age of accountability, if they turn from the faith, whatever, that's out of your hands. But as a parent, it is your duty and responsibility to raise your child up in the Lord, plain and simple. It's not an option, it's your responsibility. Because again, Matthew 18:6 says it best. Jesus himself said, this is the words out of his own mouth, that it would be better for you to tie a millstone around your neck and drown in the deepest ocean than have to face God for offending or misleading these kids. So if you think it's a joke, whatever, I mean, you got another thing coming, folks. But you really need to get on board with this. And if you see your kids talking to something that's not there, okay, for long periods of time, whatever, drawing weird figures, like something you see in the movie, okay, you need to take serious about that, okay? You really need to look into this, and you really need to get right with God. So instead of putting this garbage over your kids' heads, dream catchers and all that, you should be pleading the blood of Jesus Christ over them and protecting them. Say the prayers daily with them if you can. At least once a week, just say a spiritual prayer that will cleanse your house, your family, and protect your children. Because, folks, we're in a spiritual battle, believe it or not. You can take this as a grain of salt, but this is real stuff, folks. Okay? And to scare your kids with this Krampus and this Black Pete thing, they have big festivals, and this is abomination, plain and simple. Even to teach your kids about Santa Claus in general is abomination. So anyway, folks, it's Dan Bidondi for TruthRadioShow.com, and we need to pray, especially with this time of year, because there's more satanic festivals and pagan festivals going on. It's horrible this time of year, but you need to put your spiritual battle warfare on, put your spiritual armor on, and plead the blood of Christ, Jesus, Yeshua, Messiah, to protect us. God bless and shalom. Declaring war on the New World Order. TruthRadioShow.com.